On Thursday, June 23rd, Walt Disney's The Jungle Book, Making a Masterpiece, opened at the Walt Disney Family Museum. The night before, there was a special event that DAPS MAGIC was invited to that included a panel that was led by Andreas Deja. Andreas Deja got his career started because of The Jungle Book. He saw it as a kid and was so inspired by it that he realized that's what he wanted to do with his life. Years later, he would end up working at the Walt Disney Company, specifically the Walt Disney Animation Studios, where he was behind great characters like Jafar, like Hercules, like Gaston, like Scar, like Lilo, and Mama Odie, among many others, including work on Mickey Mouse throughout the course of his career. Now he curated this beautiful exhibit at the Walt Disney Family Museum that we were able to get a look at, along with a chat with Andreas Deja. This is this chat. We hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Mr. Daps, and I'm here at the Walt Disney Family Museum, where it has been an incredible night with a wonderful panel as we've heard about The Jungle Book and the beautiful exhibit that's been put together by Andreas Deja, Disney legend, animator. We all just look up to you. Amazing. Thank you so much for having us here, both of you and Walt Disney Family Museum. I love that your story starts with The Jungle Book in your Disney career, I guess you could say. One of the things we've heard multiple times is you see this, you fall in love with it, this is what I want to do with my life. What was it like the first time you saw it in English versus in German? And when was that?
It was unusual. The first time I saw bits of the Jungle Book in its original version was, I bought some Super 8 films, you know, and they happened to be English. And so I saw and heard Bagheera and Shere Khan, you know, speaking in English, and I noticed that it actually is a better fit because it's lip sync, you know, so the mouth movements actually match what the actors are saying, which is not the case in the dub version. I still like the dub version because the dialogue is really, really good. But once you see it in English, it just kind of clicks.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, and that sets you on this career path of studying art, coming to Disney. And now, years later, I feel like you're one of the experts on this film. And so you've created this exhibit here. Where did this start?
It started with the idea, which I had when we opened the exhibition on Mickey Mouse 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because there weren't many follow-up ideas. What are we going to do after Mickey? There was one on Disney World War II, which actually happened, but there wasn't much after that. So I talked to Marina, the designer for these shows, and I said, Marina, how about the Jungle Book? This is Walt's last film, and this is something to celebrate, you know, and really do. And she says, that's my favorite. I said, well, it's my favorite too. We should really let people know. So that evening, it went through the whole place, and then the family found out about it, and it was approved the next day.
That's awesome.
It was just amazing to hear we are going to do the Jungle Book next.
So you've made this decision, we're going to do the Jungle Book next. What happens next?
Well, then you set up your usual Zoom sessions, which is once a week with the museum. They run any time from half an hour to 2 hours usually. And you really start off with ideas. You know, how do you want to structure this? Are you going to feature the behind the scenes more, or how are you going to talk about the music and all of that? And I thought to give it some structure, why don't we follow the story? So you really walk into the exhibition and you see Bagheera finding Mowgli, but you also at the same time on the other side when you enter are the original Jungle Book books by Rudyard Kipling. So you also find out about him, about the author. So, but in general, you follow the storyline of the film. You're meeting all the characters in order, but you also find out about who made them, who drew what, who painted what, who are the voices, and all of that.
So that sounds like a monumental task in itself. But then you also have all of these incredible and beautiful pieces of art at different levels of production throughout this gallery. First off, how many do you have personally, like in your collection? I'm sure some of them are here. Well, I know some of them are here, but how many do you have?
I haven't counted them, but there are a lot. I was just very lucky to be able to purchase the estate of Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson, and those were thousands and thousands of pieces. And I paid it off over a period of 10 years because it was a huge amount of money. But they didn't really want to have this collection of art that they kept sold here and sold there and sold there. They wanted keep it together. So then I came in and made them an offer. So the bulk of my collection is really what Frank and Ollie had kept.
Do you remember what your first piece from Jungle Book was? Like,
interesting question. The very first piece, I must have bought something when I didn't have a lot of money, because there were some galleries in town in Los Angeles, the Howard Lowry Gallery, for example. It might have been a sketch of the elephant, one of the elephants, probably.
Okay.
That's how I started.
And was that because that was a favorite character, or is that what
it was available? It was available. You cannot just go out there and say, "Hey, I want to buy King Louis sequence so and so scene."
Sure.
It's just not there. You have to be patient. You have to watch eBay, and you have to just talk to people who might know somebody who might know who has this kind of stuff.
And then, so you have thousands of these pieces of beautiful art. How do you go from thousands to, I'm assuming, hundreds?
I don't know about hundreds of thousands, but
well, I'm thinking for the exhibit.
The exhibit. Well, I still have some stuff that we couldn't show. There's just so much space,
right?
But I think the essence of what I have from Jungle Book is pretty much there.
Okay.
We also got some prints, some files of animation drawings. For example, I didn't have much of the vulture sequence.
Okay.
So I knew there would be a void, so we turned to the animation research library. And they said, no, we can send you some files. This is what we have scanned already. Would you like to have some of these? And I said, yes, they're all good. You don't have to go back to work and scan more. This is good, what you have. So we have those in the exhibit, just to flesh out the visuals.
Totally, very cool. Could you also tell me what it's like working with the team here?
I love working with the team. We're like a family, because the way these Zoom meetings start every Thursday, usually, we just talk about what's happening, what's going on. Is it hot up there? Well, no, but it's hot down here. You just make small talk and catch up with everybody. And then we eventually get to talk about Jungle Book and what needs to be done and how far we've come. So it's just a really warm way of working, And I've just had a ball working on. My first exhibition was actually on Mark Davis and Mark Davis leading ladies. I think we called it Femme Fatale, because Mark animated Cruella, Cinderella, Alice, And so that was a smaller exhibition in the main museum. And then I, of course, did Mickey Mouse 3 years ago. That was a big one, of course. And then now Jungle Book. So. It just has become really comfortable working with the team because we all know each other. We can read each other, so it's been joyful all the way through.
And I feel like that's a theme, especially with this movie that we heard about in the panel, how much everybody working on the movie, however many years ago, we're such a family coming together for that. And then as I was just watching people around here tonight and watching you guys interact up here in front, I loved seeing that almost replicated in a way as we were hearing about this masterpiece that we all grew up loving and seeing it celebrated here tonight. What are you most excited about in the exhibit? Like, is there a certain
I think
piece?
some of the interactive stuff is kind of interesting. And I usually start out by saying I really don't want to have a wall and art and then another wall and art. It has to be interactive. You have to be immersed in the world of the Jungle Book, not just showing pretty drawings, So the interactive things they came up with, I think are really fun. We have this green screen thing, which we need to tweak just a little bit to make that work, but where guests can actually see themselves in the movie dancing with Baloo. That I don't think that's ever been done before. And also we have a voiceover station where kids can...
There was a line there when I was there.
Was there really? Where people can pick a voice and then put their own voice, their own acting onto that particular scene. So just fun stuff like that really are like sort of the icing on the cake for an exhibition like this.
Absolutely. And do you have a favorite piece of art that's over there?
I do. There's one, there's a lot of beautiful color stuff, of course, but there's one little drawing. The drawing, it's about this big, but it's on a big sheet of paper, on a 16-field sheet of paper. It's a development sketch of Bagheera and Mowgli asleep up in a tree, and you can just see the connection that they have. They're just asleep, and Mowgli's leaning on the panther's back, and it's just the sweetest. It's almost like a telephone duel, but it has everything in it. The personalities come through, and the sweetness. I just love that drawing.
That's amazing. As we're wrapping this up, you've had a fantastic career that continues on. You've got some new stuff coming out I'm looking forward to. But did you ever have that moment where you just thought back to that first time you saw Jungle Book and you thought, I'm doing this now?
The pinch me moment. Well, I'm still pinching myself to this day. I mean, I have this movie coming out. It's a half hour.
That's what I'm alluding to.
Personal film that is just about done. You know, we're all in color now. We're just doing sound right now, final sound. But the idea, and I don't know if you know this, that Richard Sherman, who wrote not all but most songs for the Jungle Book with his brother Robert, also wrote the main musical theme for my film.
Yeah. How
How did that even happen? I mean, that is absolutely crazy, you know. But he did. We had a thing at an animation festival in Los Angeles, and I actually asked Richard if he would play some of his classic songs for these kids, these students, because you know they had never seen him live or anything like that. So he came graciously, and but before we went on stage, we had lunch, and he asked me what I was doing. I said, well, I'm working on this film with this Russian girl who's raising a Siberian tiger, and as he gets big, there's trouble. And I told him kind of the whole storyline, and luckily, I don't always do this, but that day I told it particularly well. And he just got it, and he embraced it, and his fingers were doing this, and he said, I think somebody at this table with some Russian background could do a song for you. And my head was just, Richard, I didn't hear right? Did you just say that? Wow. And his family told me later that he wrote this lullaby. It's a Russian lullaby. He wrote that night when he came home from the event. I just love that man to pieces for many reasons.
That's amazing. I hope to hear that someday.
You will.
I can't wait. Well, thank you so much for having us. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for this exhibit. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure to stop by the Walt Disney Family Museum. You don't want to miss this. It's beautiful. I know we're going back in next. Walt Disney's The Jungle Book, Making a Masterpiece, will be available at the Walt Disney Family Museum through January 8th, 2023. Make sure to stop by and check it out. You won't want to miss it. It's absolutely incredible, as is the rest of the museum. Let us know what you think about it in the comments, and we hope to hear about your visit to the Walt Disney Family Museum as well. We'll see you later.